Hello everyone. It was one of those technology moments when the survey says, they don't want to know that I've got a camera, or it does, but it says I've got a different camera than the one I really have. So I'm sorry about that. I am now here. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Val, Jill, June, Heather, another Jill, Pat, Rio, Nicola, Jane, Sue. Lovely for you to all be joining me, and you can see we've got something a bit different. I wanted to show you again how to emboss with the stencils. So I've got some new products here because they are perfect for showing you such a thing. And I'm going to be using my manual die cutting machine, and it's the Spellbinders Platinum 6, basically because it's a small one that I can actually put on here to be able to show you what I'm doing with it. So all machines are different, and I am going to pop onto the website later on a list of the sandwiches, as they call it, of you being able to make a card and emboss, and how you would emboss with various different machines. It's not all machines though, so you know, bear with me on that. So we have got The Colours of Winter by Janine's Art, which is Find It. And I've got 3 of the items here today. There's 4 things in the actual set, so there's a border as well. It's called Winter Frame, Winter Swirl, and that's the very pretty coloured papers. I'm not actually going to use those papers today because I'm actually going for a slightly bigger card. But they are available and they're very pretty. So I'm going to put them to one side, and I am going to use, first of all, the winter frame. So I'm going to use the swirls in a minute, but I'm going to use the winter frame first to show you how I go about embossing an actual frame. So there's lots of different ways of doing this. And as I said, it depends on which machine that you have got. So if you have a look at my die, you can see that by looking at it, once you're familiar with this sort of thing, you will see what will cut out and what will deboss and what will emboss. And so basically this one has an outer edge. So all around this edge, it will cut out. So unlike most of the other John Next Door dies or various other dies that we use where they do not have a cutting edge, this one does. And so you are restricted by the fact that this will cut out the, I can't remember how much it was, about 13 centimetres, was it? 12.5, roughly 12.5 centimetres square. So you are restricted by that. If you also have a look, there's lots of cutting edges all around here. So the little snowflakes and bits and pieces. Then this one, which is a flatter one, that will give you a deboss look. So that will deboss into your card. And then where these holes are, that is where you can emboss. So it's quite an intricate die in a way, in as much as it's got a lot of detail to it. And one of the beauties is that if you do it in the correct way, or I should say in the way that it could be done, not necessarily the correct way, because it's not necessarily a correct way, but because there are so many different ways of doing it, it will work so well if you do all of the actions. So I've already cut myself a piece of the linen metallic card. I've cut it in silver, but I'm afraid that silver is totally out of stock. But you may well have some in your stash, or mirror card is absolutely fine. The reason why I'm not using the mirror card is because it basically flashes back so much so that you can see the camera and all that sort of thing, whereas I'm sure that you're really wanting to see other things. So let me take my bits and pieces over to one side so I can get everything out of the way. So I've just taped it. I've used my low tack tape, and I've just taped it not necessarily at the sides. I have put one bit at the side, but if you recall, I said that it's going to cut that piece away. And because I want it to stay in position, because I'm going to be cutting it and then embossing it, I need it to stay in as much close proximity as I possibly can to get it to stay. So let me bring my machine in. So I'm going to bring up my camera a bit so that you can see it a bit more. There you go. So this is my Spellbinders Platinum machine. So it's a manual machine, and depending on what machine one has, this sandwich, as you call it, will vary. But the good thing is with this one is that it does actually tell you what to do on the plate. So at the moment, I'm going to be cutting out an ordinary die. So it needs the base plate, then it needs a well-used, not necessarily well-used, a clear plate. Then I'm going to cut out, so I put it that way around, I'm going to cut out my die with my card on the top, and then my second clear plate on the top of that. And then, I hope this doesn't shudder too much, I'm going to run that through. So I do appreciate, oh, crash, bang, wallop, that it does shake, rattle and roll. Now, if you look at that now, I don't want to take it out because it will move it. But if you look at it now, you can see that I've cut out without any trouble the pieces that cut out. But you can't see any, if you remember, there was a lot of little crosses and marks here, and you can't see any of that at the moment because that's when we need to deboss it. So although it would be very pretty like that, you won't get all the detail shining through. So, as I said, we're using the Spellbinders platform. So if you look at how to emboss a cut shaped, it's this one here. So I'm taking my clear plate out, and I've just slid my die with the cutting edge facing towards me onto the base of my machine. I'm then taking one of the non-stick mats from Crafts 2. So it's really for heat mats and things like that, but I found that it works perfectly for this, so I'm going with it. I have had to chop it down a bit because it comes in a sort of a I don't know, is it 7-inch, maybe 7-inch square? And because I'm using a smaller machine, I've got one like this for here. I've chopped a bit off. For my other machines, I use it in the big state, but they're only a few pounds, so I think £3 or something. So they're hardly going to break the bank to have a couple. So then with this machine, it comes with a Spellbinders embossing plate. So that then goes on the top. So I've got my die facing upwards, so it feels as if it's going to be cutting into the rubber. Then my card, my piece of rubber, and my embossing plate over the top of it. I'm going to run that through, and it doesn't give you very much give. The tension is not very strong, so you might feel as if you're hardly doing anything, but believe me, you are. So I'm just going to take that off of there, take that off of there, and now hopefully you can see, and this is the back, don't forget, that you have got a lot of detail there. So if we turn that over and take off some of the tape here, you can see hopefully that is, not quite sure if you can tell that, but now those bits are actually sort of poking through. So if we take off our bits of tape, that bit in the middle cuts out completely, so we don't need that. Take that off, and then I'm just going to see if I can't take a few of the pieces off before I remove it, just to make life a little bit easier, really. So I'm just using the brush here just to take some of the worst off. I say worse, I mean, golly, it's hardly worse, but, and then you can see that you've got all of this pattern here, hopefully not too shiny, but there's lots of different intricate little bits that just need popping out, but they do pop out. These dies cut very, very well, and they're so reasonably priced. And if you want some quick cards, these are some of your go-tos. So, whoops, let's take out those little bits there. Now, I've already popped some of the bits on there, but there are some bits that actually come out as a complete snowflake. So I'm going to pop those to one side because we might want them like that, you never know. And just make sure there's another snowflake there. Just makes the finished card. Quite yummy, really, quite yummy. So I hope everybody is well. I'm just having a look to see. Some people are late. Oh, tut, tut, tut. The good thing is you can always catch up on it, can't you? That is why we changed over to the YouTube thing, because it was so much easier to then catch up, really, rather than trying to find a slot on Facebook. Because once a few people comment on things, the notifications sort of get lost somewhat. Just checking that I've got all the bits out that I should have. So there you can see, really pretty. Some flowers sort of debossed in the centre there. So yeah, very pretty. So I'm just going to keep those. Oh, there was one that fell out there. Keep those little snowflakes to one side, but all these bits, I'm sure, I mean, even that looks like a little flower, doesn't it? Eh? But I'm just going to scoop those off. Now, also, just put this to one side a second, there are the swirls. So if you recall, these, the winter swirls. And I'm going to cut a couple of those because I want them to be in the centre of the card. So I'm just going to do that again. So it will give you a reminder of how it goes. So if I want to just cut something, I need to take my base, but remember this is for this particular card, not necessarily for anything else like that. So my base card, just going to chop myself a smaller piece of card to do this with. We don't need such a massive piece. Oh, goodness me. So I'm a small piece of card with my die facing cutting down. I need to take that into position. So then we have clear plate first, cutting die, and I'm going to turn it round that way. Don't usually, but it makes it easier when I'm embossing. Clear plate, run it through. And back again, just as I can. Take my clear plates away, pop my die cutting edge upwards as if it's going to cut into the rubber, but it doesn't, so don't panic. Straight onto the platform. Then I'm going to load my non-stick mat, rubber mat. I mean, a lot of these machines come with their own rubber mats anyway, but I found that this one's quite good. And with my then embossing plate on the top, and as I said, it doesn't feel as if there's a lot of give. It just feels as if it's almost gliding through, which basically it is. Excuse the noise. Right. That woke you up even if you nodded off, didn't it? So, and then when you look, you can already see from this side that it's beautifully embossed it, which is lovely. So I'm just going to take that tape off and t'other one. And I've already done another one because you didn't need to watch me to sit and do two of them. But I just wanted two. But you can see, hopefully, that there's an awful lot of detail in that. Can you see that? The debossed even in that area. But then it brings out the little stars as well, which if you didn't deboss it, you might see a glint of something, but you possibly wouldn't see such detail. But you will see something, just not quite so much detail. So there we are. So I can pop that to one side again. So my card. So how am I going to make my card up? So there's my two pieces, because as I said, I did cut that out earlier, and I've now got my embossed shape. And so I've decided to go with a 7x7 card today. As I said, it lends itself to a smaller card, a 6x6, etc., etc. You can, do all sorts of sizes of cards with this one. So I'm going to make the card a little bit different. So rather than have it just flat on the front, I'm going to make it with a folded card. So before I actually stick anything down, I'm going to fold my card front. So that is my card front, and I am just going to fold my card in half so that this edge meets onto the folded edge. It's very thick card, this is. Very thick. I think we're probably talking 350 GSM. It's really thick. And it doesn't need to be quite as thick as that, but just what I had to hand. So I have then given myself a Z fold card. Okay, so then I have already taken advantage of the fact that I can cut some of my card previously, and I'm going to go for some blues. So I've got the Midnight Pearl, which has got a lovely sheen to it. Yeah, and then I've got the Periwinkle blue. So these are foundation cards. These aren't the linen cards, they are foundation cards. So this piece is for the back. So this is the front of the card, and this is for the back. So I'm going to pop these on first, and then I can see what you're doing. So, oh, you've got a leak. Oh my goodness. Is that what I'm reading? Oh dear. Yes, June, they are new dice. They came out a couple of days ago. Our next door neighbour's got a leak. He's having his conservatory redone as we talk, and it keeps raining. And so the poor people that are actually trying to put the roof up, plus the fact of they're getting their wet in their house, nightmare. But it has been very, very rough, and still continues to be, and will be for a few more days yet, so I'm afraid. So I do hope you get your roof sorted out. Are they not talking to you, Sarah? That's not good enough, is it? Oh gosh, perhaps you're just not seeing it. So I have cut a one piece, so 7x7 card, but I don't work in inches, so it's centimeters, and my first layer was 17x17 centimeters, and this one is 16.5 by 16.5 centimeters. So that is there. Then I'm going on to the front of my card. So I haven't cut this piece because I just wanted to show you how to do that. So I'm not going to worry about putting a card in here or there, because you're not going to be seeing that. So I'm just going to put it onto this front piece here. So in order to do so, I'm going to, with my centimeters, measure the front of the card. So the front of the card is just under the 9. So I think if I said 8.3, and I know that's a funny measurement, but that should be about right. 8.3, and that's got to be by 17. So let us cut that out. So first of all, it has to be cut out from the dark layer, from the Midnight Blue. So 8.3. Mind you, although 8.3 sounds funny, it sounds just as funny if you're going to do 1 2/8 or 1 3/16 or something. Well, it does to me anyway. 17, I said, didn't I? So, oh, it's because I haven't got my thing straight. I've got it resting on a ruler, and oh dear. So this little one will then fit into there. Okay, so this is the front of the card, remember. So then I've taken some of my blue and I've already embossed it with one of a snow folder that I had. Let's try and get it from the flat surface now. So if we had 8.3 for that one, we need to be half a centimetre less, which is 7.8. So 7.8 wide and 16.5 along, because the other one was 17, so half a centimetre all the way around for that. And then that one should fit nicely onto there, giving me a little border all the way around there. And that's going to fit onto the front of my card. Okay, so let's get that all stuck down. So it's just, as I said, you can make these dies, or this type of design of dies, as simple or as so-called difficult as you like. You could just pop it down onto a piece of card and it's done. You don't have to emboss it, but I think you'll agree that by embossing it, it really brings out such a lovely detail in it. So now I'm carrying on with my layers. Lots of card, lots of layers. I've actually only used 2 sheets, but it just looks more. So I've now gone along the same theme and I've cut myself. Well, first of all, I measured my die piece there. And as we said, I think it was 12.5 centimetres, was it? 12-ish. So I've gone first with my blue layer, and that is going to go onto there like that. Then I've cut myself a slightly bigger dark blue, midnight blue layer, so on the same colour themes as I've got on here. And then again, because of the same colour, because I've got a white border all the way around there, I've cut myself a white border. So yes, it is a lot of layers, but I think it looks very nice. And then that is going to go into the centre of my card, but it's only going to be stuck on this one half, so that when I pick my card up, it's going to come out to the front there like that. Okay, so let's get some layers and put them together. So I'm assuming that you've all finished all your Christmas cards by now, but just in case you haven't, I'll still be doing a few Christmas ideas for you, just in case. The kit is a Christmassy kit, and as I said, that will be launched on this Sunday. So I'm hoping that you will enjoy having a look at that and see what that is. And on Friday, I'll be here on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. And it's Fancy Friday, so it's whatever I fancy doing at the time. Who knows what that might be? I was organised last week to know what it was going to be, but today I ain't so sure. So let me just think I'm going to take my, just seeing where I wanted to put my glue really, but I'm going to do it with a fine line, I think. So it could be a flower, it could be anything, who knows. And we've got some new products coming Friday evening on Hochanda's One Day Special with one of my, have to say, one of my probably most favourite products that's come out in a little while, which I've been playing with and I love. Yum, 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 yum. And that will be available at 6 o'clock as well. So that's on Friday. So very busy. And then Sunday I will be back with my Sunday special. So I'm just putting little bits of glue and all these intricate bits. That's obviously the beauty of such a fine liner glue. I think I've got all where I need to. Just pop my lid back on. Oh, got shakes, got a shaky hand. That's no good, is it? So you could put this any way round. I'm going to put mine that way round. And because you have got little bits that sort of stick out, you have to, you can't sort of put this on a 12.5 by 12.5 centimetre piece, because you've got little bits that are a bit proud that sit out here and there. And so therefore I've cut that first layer to 13 so that I know that I'm going to get that all the way around. So I'm bringing this back to my card here, and I'm going to put some glue on that section only, so just on that half. Okay, but I'm going to center my card, so when I'm putting it on, I'm laying it down so that this section is actually in the middle of my card, so that when it's closed it all fits in the same way. Okay, just making sure obviously that I didn't have glue that was on this section here, only on that part there. But if you lay it down when you're positioning it, if you lay it down so that the glue's there, then I think it looks quite nice. So nearly finished. I've cut myself out a sentiment using the Press Cuts Merry Christmas. Whoops. And I'm going to pop that onto there like that, and I've cut it out from the blue, from the dark blue, the midnight blue. Okay, I'm just going to pop a little bit of, oh, I have got the shakes today. Probably need a coffee. The staff is here, but not in coffee mode, I'm afraid. No, that's not so good, is it? Have to get them into coffee mode. There we are. So there's our Merry. Oh, and now our Christmas. You can put any sentiment. As with most of the Janine's dies, Find It dies, Amy Design, whoever it is, they do come with, not that I've got them, but they do come with some decoupage sheets, and so they're sort of designed to fit in with it, but I haven't got any of those at the moment. So that's my sentiment gone down. Okay, we are nearly there. Let's pop this lid back on. So just wanted to finish off the centre. So if we open up the card, we've got our centrepiece there. And you recall that from the winter swirls, I cut out a couple of the swirls. Okay, so I'm going to pop them there. And we want a sentiment. So what I've already done in advance is I've taken the press cut nesting ovals in both the stitch dot ones, which I've cut out from this. You can see the design there. And I've cut out the plain oval, which goes in the centre there. So I'm just going to pop that onto one on top of t'other. And the reason why I've chosen the ovals is because, if you can see what I mean, this is an oval-ish shape. So that when you go through, oh bum, it's all right, I'm going to put something on there anyway. That's on the back of my hand. The oval shape of that is going to sort of come over here, yeah? So that when you open it, you've got the oval shape there, opening to the oval shape there, where you would be writing Happy Christmas and all those wonderful things. Okay, so that is going to go into my centerpiece there. Again, nothing, you know, not in a special place or anything like that, but centered as we look at it there. And then just need a little bit more. I think I'm going to put my use my sticky specs for those because they're thicker pieces. I think we can get away with that. So that one on there, that one on there. Just press that down and pick up some of the sticky pieces. And now I've got sticky all on the back. So they can go wherever I want them to go, really, but I think they look, whoops, rather nice in the corners. So we'll put that beautiful swirl there. Stick where you're told properly. You've got to talk to it, don't you find? If you don't talk to it, it behaves even more badly. Oh, here I am sitting talking to myself anyway. I know you are talking to me as well, but I can't see that at the same time. At least with the online workshops, we can actually talk to one another properly. Let's try and straighten that out this time before I put it down. So I'm just putting my corresponding one into that corner. Whoops. Put it in roughly the right place before I go to stick it down. So there you go. Just going to take, I can feel it's got sticky bits, so I'm just going to take those excess sticky bits off because I don't want them to stick to the card. That one feels okay. A little bit there as well. So, only one thing that we didn't use, and that was our snowflakes. So I could use the snowflakes, and I think I will put them here actually. I think they look quite nice there. Yeah. So I'm just going to put them so that when I write my sentiment, I've got a little bit of the snowflakes on here as well. Whoops. Just popping that down there. Obviously, you don't have to use the snowflakes, but because they're already cut out, it just looks really pretty, I thought. And if not for this project, you could use them for another one, couldn't you? Let's just put 3 there. And when you've used the corners, there's the swirls. The other one is beautiful as well. Much bigger one. And you could fit that. That would look really lovely coming down the side of a page. In actual fact, wouldn't that look lovely on a DL card as well? You know, if you had the whole length there. Very, very nice. Might do that one in a minute. So when you've got your corners there, and then when you close your card, you can still see the pattern through the other side. So it still looks as if it's all part of one. It could have been a fancy fold, but I thought that we would go with, we didn't want to frighten people off really, did we, Jill? Because there's certain people we know that would have heart failure over this just watching it. So yeah, there you go. So hold on, let's just pop this away. So not a bit of foam in sight today. How about that? But as I said, hopefully might have helped you to see about using an embossing an embossing plate, an embossing sheet for your own cards. So these are the dies that I've used today. The Colours of Winter, it's called. Colours of Winter, Winter Frame, and Colours of Winter, Winter Swirl. There's also a winter border, but I haven't used that today. And as I said, there's some lovely cards with it as well. Papers, I should say. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed and learnt a little bit from today's card. I shall pop that up on the page for you. And I will put up, as I said, the list, and it isn't a comprehensive list, but it is a list that I've got that might help you with the sandwich. I keep saying sandwich. It is a sandwich, isn't it? The sandwich of how you emboss something with your machine, but it doesn't include absolutely every machine. So do bear with me on that. All right. So, okay, I will be back on Friday morning at 10 o'clock with Fancy Friday, depending on what we fancy doing. If you have anything that you would like to do or like to see me do contact me, send me a message, pop it on the Facebook page. If there's anything that you would like to purchase, don't forget we're over on the website at maximumcrafts.com. I do have these selections in, and there are of course the non-stick mat. So that's if you were looking for a rubber mat that you haven't got, it's called a non-stick mat. Okay, but it's all over on the Facebook Live section. So thank you very much for joining me today. Have a good day. I hope that weather's, well, the weather is what it is, isn't it? So there you go. And I will see you on Friday. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Bye.